Saving the world takes everything a hero's got, but for some, less is actually more. Scheming like a criminal ever since her debut, Lady Mastermind. Lady Mastermind is known for creating hyper-realistic telepathic illusions. It's pretty scary. In Extreme X-Men 9, she created an illusion in Heather Cameron's head that Heather was stabbed, and Heather started bleeding through her pores. There was never any wound, but her shirt was soaked through. Lady Mastermind also convinced Heather's dad that he was drowning, causing him to suffocate in a room full of air. People will believe the illusions even if it comes with major changes in the environment. It doesn't matter, they feel that real. I mean, I can't really blame the people caught on the wrong side of her wrath. In the Marvel Universe, getting randomly teleported is not that surprising, probably. She can also make the illusions exactly your worst nightmare because she can read your mind a little bit. She can use her limited telepathic powers to camouflage herself and others, or make herself and others appear as someone else. In X-Men Volume 2, 193, she does this and makes an X-Men unknowingly eliminate their teammate. Even if you knock her out, the illusions will sometimes still stick around, so that's a lot of examples of her doing bad things, maybe need to hold back a little, but she is now affiliated with the X-Men, which has tamed her. Coming in hot with powerful telepathic abilities, a god complex, and a tendency to cause problems is Game Master. He has powerful telepathic abilities, so powerful he needs cybernetic implants to help him control his power. And that power, what does he do with it? Well, he helped run a competition for mutants to fight each other to win a prize. It's very Hunger Games core. How does a person even end up here? Games Master got to this point because he discovered that if he's able to really focus on a distraction, then his mental load would be easier to carry. Knitting is too hard, and the Hunger Games is apparently the perfect distraction. The weight he is trying to distract himself from is hearing the thoughts of every human on the planet. Almost 8 billion people's thoughts are running through his head 24/7. That sounds like a nightmare, and that's a lot, even for the most powerful telepath. No wonder he acts a bit unhinged. Games Master can manipulate many minds at once. He even claims he can control the whole world, but luckily he has held himself back from doing that. Boundaries. The guy is smart but lacking in skill. He manifested his abilities at an early age and got no help with them, so he needs a bit of training to really get himself under control. But even the way he is, he's pretty powerful as an unskilled mutant, so while the X-Men consider him a foe, they should maybe hold off on training. So while the X-Men do not consider him a foe anymore, they should maybe start training him to control himself. He does join the mutant nation of Krakoa in the end and hopefully start attending some classes. Angel used to be pretty basic in the mutant world. He could fly. He got his name from the angel wings on his back. The wings are really strong, so if he smacked them together, it would create powerful wind blasts. He could also just smack you with the wing. That would also hurt. Pretty soon though, Angel got an upgrade and a bad side, becoming Archangel. Archangel wants death and destruction, so Angel really had to get that in check so he could stay with the X-Men. Though it is bloodthirsty, the new Archangel side is what I consider an upgrade because it gave Angel new powers. One particularly useful one is healing blood. If someone gets hurt, all you need is a little bit of Archangel's blood and you'll be fine. Angel also got a hypersonic scream, a loud scream, basically so loud it can cause internal bleeding and break the sound barrier. You can wound Angel, but his healing blood is due to a healing factor, so if he gets wounded, he just heals. There was a moment in his Archangel journey where he became a horseman of the apocalypse, as one does. He was Death, the angel of death, so ominous. It was during that time he got his techno-organic wings. Though the wings are metal, they eventually molt and he gets his feathers back. They're also super strong and have stuff you'd want in a fight. Even if Angel lost his wings, he could still hold his own. He's good at hand-to-hand combat and sword fighting, and he's rich, which in today's economy, that's a superpower. He owns the company Worthington Industries, a Fortune 100 company. Xorn famously went from Magneto's disguise to an actual character because he was so cool. Xorn also pretty famously destroyed the X-Men and part of a major city once. This retcon has had fans up in arms since it happened for a number of reasons. When Xorn was Magneto, it made sense that he would target the X-Men like that. He's got a lifelong feud with them at that point. But then when that was retcon, because the editors liked Xorn and Magneto needed to return, suddenly it was just this guy attacking the team. It lost some of its bite because there suddenly wasn't this lifelong feud fueling the fire. Xorn did have a bone to pick, but did he really need to do all that? The reason given in canon for his absolutely off-the-rails choices was that he was under the control of Sublime, and Sublime wanted Xorn to cause as much chaos as possible so mutants got a really bad rep. Then when it was time to convince the world mutants were bad, it would be a lot easier. Makes sense, but even in that context, Xorn, chill please. Innocent civilians, Just really big thumbs down all around, buddy. Mimic deserves so much more than he gets. Maybe he shouldn't hold back so much and he would get some proper mainstream recognition. Mimic can stay himself and yet gain the powers of whoever he wants, whoever is around him. And if he is around you long enough, he can have the powers forever. His body just adopts them. His mimic abilities are for anything, not just mutant mimicking. He's mimicked athletic skills on a football field before. If he stands next to Celine Dion, I'm sure we get a great cover of My Heart Will Go On. Most of the company Mimic keeps at this point though, they're mutants and other superheroes, so he's usually mimicking superpowers. He's hung around the original X-Men so much that he permanently has their powers, so that's Cyclops' Optic Blast, Beast Strength, Jean Grey's Telekinesis, Iceman's Ice Controlling, and, until he cut off the wings, Angel's Winged Flight. He had to cut off his wings because Angel lost his wings and needed a new set, but the situation does cement how powerful Mimic's mimicking is. He was able to create wings that were so close to the actual Angel's wings that he could just donate them to Angel. Mimic could easily become the smartest person on Earth very quickly, or the strongest, or the most powerful just by standing next to someone long enough. That is so cool and scarily powerful. Franklin doesn't hold back anymore. There is nothing to hold. The poor kid has drained his powers and then lost his mutant status, but he wasn't ever a mutant to start with. It's complicated. Franklin is the son of the Fantastics and was once thought to be an Omega level mutant until it was discovered his powers were so powerful it made him seem like a mutant, but he really wasn't. Still, when he wasn't drained of power, the kid could create whole universes, and his powers might even be on equal ground with Celestials should he use them fully. Galactus feared Franklin, literally evacuating the premises just to not fight him. Eventually, Franklin did get his hands on Galactus and gain control over him, using him to demolish two mad Celestials. This was done by Franklin combining his abilities from Franklin's past, present, and future, so adult Franklin was the one doing all this, which is good. A teenager should not be in that situation. Franklin is capable of time travel and telepathy and illusions and duplication and literally so much more. The Fantastics definitely had their hands full with him. This suggestion was taken from the comments of part 1, so thank you. Colossus can be a gentle giant when it comes to his little sister. Take Uncanny X-Men 153, the bedtime story comic for example. He loves her a lot, so mess with her and he loses it a bit. That's really not something you want from Colossus. You want the guy to keep a hold of himself. He was also destined to destroy Breakworld as foretold by an ancient mural there, so keeping his anger in check is in their best interest. But if he's capable of destroying one world, he could probably break others, so it's in everyone's interest to keep the steel giant on their side. Firestar is next, and this woman has carried our last mutant up in the air before, all 500 pounds of him, quite quickly. It actually hasn't even been established what Firestar's absolute fastest speed is, but it's gotta be speedy. Her powers are mainly microwave based, not like the food serving thing, but actual waves. She taps into the Earth's electromagnetic field and converts it into the microwaves. Those microwaves can be used in a bunch of different ways, like flight for example. She could use it to project energy at someone. If she focuses, she can even cause things to explode. She can mess up frequencies and electronics. Overall, she is very warm. She was once thrown through a brick wall, but literally went through it. The bricks melted so fast, it was like she never actually touched it. Overall, very cool powers, but very dangerous too. Since Firestar draws her powers from the electromagnetic field of the planet she's on, this case Earth, if she draws too much accidentally or purposefully, she could potentially destroy the planet. To stop this from happening, she does usually hold back, but when she's in space, that's not a concern. That means she gets more powerful. In reality though, she's just not holding herself back out of fear, so space-powered Firestar is the closest thing we have to full-power Firestar. Mystique has always been that girl, but just recently has it been revealed that she's more powerful than anyone could have guessed, and is even capable of being that guy. Mystique for a long time was a shapeshifter, but it's been recently established that she is actually a gene shaper. It's a subtle difference, but shapeshifters typically will just take on a person's appearance. Gene shapers become that person, and when they are shifting, they're shifting their DNA, it will rewrite itself. That's how Mystique was able to become Nightcrawler's father, not mother. The gene shaper revelation was revealed in X-Men Blue Origins 1. The issue also featured a note from Dr. Nemesis that basically said that Raven was way more powerful than she was letting on, and maybe even more powerful than she knew. And she's pretty darn powerful already, so all the destruction she has caused, it would have been way worse had she known the extent of her capabilities. In addition to the new Gene Shaper thing, she has accelerated healing, she can become immune or simply resistant to diseases, making a lot more sense now that we know she can alter genetic code. She's pretty good at stopping telepathic intrusion, she's a good shot, trained in martial arts, and has a solid Duolingo streak with at least 11 languages in her roster. I will admit, I took this last X-Men also from the commenter on part 1 of this video, thank you to that person, and you are right, Cable is the king of holding back. He is an alpha level mutant in the eyes of Krakoa, but in the eyes of other Marvel characters, he's actually considered an Omega level mutant. As long as you understand that he is super powerful, you're good. Cable's telepathic abilities are where he shines. He even declared himself the most powerful telepath in the world, before his powers burned out, that is. Cable is known for jumping across time and for the techno-organic virus that he got when he was just a baby. The virus caused a large part of his body to turn into cyborg parts. His regular human side is already very strong and powerful, so the cyborg part is that, but even greater. And like the commenter from part 1 shared, if Cable doesn't hold back, the virus in his body could make him capable of unleashing power on par with X-Man or other X-Men or even his evil clone, because everyone in the Marvel Universe seems to get one of those at some point. We should feel lucky that Cable is held back by being a good guy. His clone Strife is known for going out and generally causing destruction. That could be Cable, but he's nice or nicer. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you to anyone who suggested ideas for this part 2. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and make your mark on the comment section down below. This is Juliana, signing off. Bye!